Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hey guys, I hope that whenever and wherever you are in the world in this moment, you're doing really well and that you're thankful. That's right. It's Thanksgiving. By the time I release this, it will officially be Thanksgiving Day. And I am a little bit late today because of, well, my son wasn't feeling too good. He's like, I don't know if I've got a parasite. I don't know if this is toxic mold. I'm having some weird shakes. And he was shaking and he's like, I feel weird. And I don't know what's going on. And we went to the hospital and they closed their normal appointments an hour early. So we had to sit with the emergency room people. 6 hours it took. 6 hours. But it turns out that he had an electrolyte imbalance. And he was having a lot of pain, and he just came out of like a 4-day being really sick with some kind of a crazy cold. It was just a normal, like a head cold type of thing, but he was just so tired. And that on top of the fact that we are all experiencing pain at this moment, most of us are, and we're experiencing a lot of the, just the cosmic energy coming, the solar winds that just hit us in the past, probably 10, 12 hours. And it's been really intense. We've been very, very sleepy. He's like, why did I wake up after 8 hours and feel like I have to go back to sleep for 3 hours? What the hell's wrong with me? Like, well, it could be that. It could be the cosmic winds, the radiation coming from the sun. But in addition to that, he was low on vitamins, minerals, and electrolytes. And if you don't have electrolytes in your body, you have a hard time absorbing vitamins and minerals. And yes, it's weird though, because yesterday he had this massive pot of soup that he made, kind of like a fish stew. He put in a bunch of I didn't eat this because I don't eat these things, but octopus and mussels and pieces of crab and maybe mollusks and also shrimp, right? So it's healthy, very healthy, but the tentacles, I'm a Virgo, it freaks me out. And plus, octopuses come from another, or I shall say octopi, come from another planet. They've been proven to have DNA outside of the planet. I don't want to eat an alien. It kind of freaks me out. I don't know how, and they're very smart, but they might be smarter than that, kind of freaks me out. I don't know why I still eat cows. I mean, they're smart as well, but I don't know. Something about the tentacly. Ugh. I mean, I barely like fish. I don't really like fish that much, but occasionally I'll eat it just because it's healthy, but I'm just, I don't know. But anyway, he ate this massive pot, had 10 different vegetables in it. He added moringa. He was very healthy. And I'm like, how could he feel so bad and be so unhealthy? And apparently he didn't have the proper amount of the electrolytes. So I want you guys to make sure in this moment, that you are actually having enough electrolytes. Because how does he have no energy when he's eating and eating and he's eating extremely healthy? It didn't make any sense. And now he's had electrolytes. He's gone to bed. In the morning, he'll have more. They gave something called suero, Suero. I don't know if it's even in the United States, but you get a Pedialyte. Pedialyte was the other thing that she recommended. And she said, just don't drink it straight like an energy drink. You just drink a little bit of it, or you could pour it in a pitcher of water and then drink that. Because you don't need concentrated electrolytes, also are not good for you. But she said how you know you don't have a heart problem is when your oxygen is fine, and even if your pulse rate is super high, but your systolic and diastolic pressure, your blood pressure is perfect, and his was perfect. She said that's how you know you're not having a heart attack. That's how you know you're not having a heart problem. Because if you have heart disease, everything's going to be off, not just the one thing. I mean, his pulse rate was 120. And he drank actually a gallon of water. It's like, how the hell could his pulse rate be? But actually what I think is if you are low on electrolytes, then you drink a bunch of water, you're going to become even lower on electrolytes. And he had just took his bicycle across town, and it does have a motor on it, but he does pedal it quite a bit. And with the motor, it makes it super heavy. So it's like, when he's pedaling it like a bicycle, it's like he's pedaling the equivalent of 2 or 3 bicycles because it's so heavy. Because of the motor, because it's a BC motor. So, I don't know. But one thing led to another today. He actually said, in spite of all that, he's extremely grateful. He sold his phone. He got off the internet. He's like, screw all that. I'm done with social media and I'm off the grid. And then, an hour later, can I use your phone? I have to look something up, So we'll see how long this lasts. But I'm glad for him because he actually is happy to be off social media. He's like, I feel like it has freed my mind. So I wanted to encourage you guys to have an electronic free day. At least try for 10 hours or something on Thanksgiving. Just no electronics. Watch TV with your family and friends. I mean, Three Stooges marathon, guys. I mean, Three Stooges or Twilight Zone or I Love Lucy. Those are my top 3 favorite marathons. And then, but still the top 5 is Mystery Science Theater 3000 marathons. You can't go wrong with any of these. So anyway, I hope that whenever and wherever you are in the world, that you are grateful, whether you're in a country where you celebrate Thanksgiving or not. I want you guys to come up with 5 things that you are grateful for in your life today. And I could tell you mine it's always going to be my children. Grateful for my children and the experiences of being a mother, basically. That's like number 1. And number 2 is I'm grateful that I get to live in the country of my dreams. And even though I can't find a decent date to save my frickin' life, I have no idea what that's about, but also possibly I'm not really alive, but in hell. And this is a really crazy version of hell. I've considered it quite a bit. Okay, my son and I've been we've been binging The Good Place. So we're like, are we in hell? Because this apartment really looks nice, but there's mold. Or, like we really like living here, but we don't really travel in the country much. Like what? This is crazy. I don't know. It's like, it's a little bit hell. It's like we live where we want to live, but we don't have the money to travel. So wait a minute. Wait a minute. What was the thing we wanted to do when we got here? Oh yeah, travel and see the whole country, because this is an amazing country. But I am grateful I live here, and I know I'm going to have the money someday. So it's coming. We are formulating a new plan for our lives. So, and I'm grateful for that. I'm actually, the doctor we met today said, I've got a house in the countryside. It's the guest house behind my mom's house. My mom lives alone on a massive piece of land, and we would love to rent the house out to you. It's in Baños, which is like just a few minutes away. She says it's really like just a mile or 2 away from the place where you can go take the baths, basically all the bath houses. I shouldn't say bath houses. They're like several places in a row, and the cheapest one is like $2 or $3. And then there's one for like $5, and it's really cheap, and you just go, and they have hot tubs, and they have swimming pools, and it's all from underground water, like volcanic water. It's got sulfur and minerals in it, and it's extremely healthy, and it's really relaxing. It exfoliates your skin right away. It, actually decompresses your muscles. You feel amazing. Your body, through your skin, you absorb magnesium, so a lot of people just do that. That's like a big, awesome activity that people do here. And she's like, it's just a few minutes from Baños. I mean, it's in Baños, but, it's a massive piece of land, like huge countryside. She's like, why don't you go live in El Campo? I'm like, ooh. The El Campo means like the countryside. We're like, ah. Oh. She's like, you could have llamas on the land, or, whatever you want. If you want chickens or sheep or whatever you want. We're like, really? She's like, yeah, we don't care. And we're like, oh my God. My son's like, we could have llamas, and once a year we could shave them and sell the fur. And I'm like, oh my God, that'd be so incredible. That'd be really fun. And I could be out there painting, have my own yard, plant a garden, plant roses, plant my favorite, just plant a bunch of flowers, plant my vegetable garden. That would be really cool. While we're waiting to make the money to, buy our own place. So we're like, yeah, that'd be nice to leave a legacy, even if we're there for 6 months or something. And we left a legacy of, having left a garden that's growing a lot of food for this woman who, if she wants to sell the food, she could. It'd be kind of cool. So I'm kind of grateful, at least for the opportunity. We got to go see the place. It might be terrible. We don't know. We might go there and go, and it does not have furniture. I have one desk, one chair, and one stool. That's all the furniture I own. Because right now I'm living in a fully furnished apartment with 4 beds for 2 people. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. It's like, but $250 plus the other stuff. So it'll end up being $450. It's not going to be that much. It's going to be like saving $50. It's not going to be saving a whole lot of money. But if I can grow food, which takes 3 to 6 months to even grow, then I might save a little more. Not a lot, but a little more. But it might be worth it just to be able to breathe, be out there in the open air, not be like looking at traffic all day long, even though it's super fun sometimes. But if the riots happen again, we won't be near a very dangerous area like that again. So it might be worth it. So we're going to go take a look. So I'm grateful for that. So that's like number 3. Is that number 3? Yes, that's number 3. So, and let's see, number 4. Well, you know what? I'm grateful for this podcast. I'm grateful for being able to disseminate my knowledge that I've acquired over the greater majority of my life. And I always wanted to be able to give this knowledge to people, and I didn't know what format it was going to take. I felt like it was definitely going to take the form of books, and it probably will, and I'm thinking about how I'm going to arrange my books. But I have not been able to write at all since I got into this apartment. I thought for sure I would be interested in writing, and I sat down to write, and I haven't written in a year and a half. I've never written anything in this apartment. It's like impossible for me to write here, and I thought I would be inspired, and I'm not. It's so weird. It's like I'm inspired to do the show, but I'm not inspired to write. In fact, I've just been extremely frustrated in that part of my life. So I think living in the countryside, that will give me more of a chance to do it. But I am grateful that I have been inspired to, live in an apartment named B1, as in B1 with the universe. That's my apartment, B1. I was like, no way. So living in a place that created this cosmic potential of having my podcast. So that's the next one, is I'm grateful that I have my podcast. And I am also, I'm grateful that I've been able to develop my ability of telepathy. ever since I started the podcast, actually, I did something that God wanted me to do. I mean, literally on January 3rd, I was like having a conversation with God. I'm like, what should I do? I want to really know for this year, what am I going to do with my life? What's the thing that is going to help me get somewhere? What's the thing that will help me serve you best? How can I serve humanity best? And he said, well, I want you to start a podcast. I'm like, that could be good. He goes, no, I mean today. And I didn't say, you want me to jump? How high? I didn't ask anything. I just said, okay. And I downloaded the Anchor app and I started that day. Boom. Just like that. So and as soon as I did that, when you do something for God, God does something for you. And even though I had telepathy, I didn't develop it. I didn't really, I didn't think about it much. I think I was afraid I was going to walk down the street and hear everybody's thoughts. And that has happened on occasion. I'll hear that person's thoughts. And sometimes I've heard people talking about me in their minds. Rarely. It's happened a few times. And even my near twin said that. He said, yeah, it really sucked being super psychic and hearing and using my power of telepathy constantly and walking into a room and hearing people's opinions of me immediately when they haven't even opened their mouths. He's like, that really sucks. It really sucks. I'm like, yeah, I can imagine. And then I'm like, yeah, but you know what? That's happened to me a couple times here where I hear people's thoughts and they're like translated into English. Oh, great. Thank you. People that don't speak English at all, they're thinking in Spanish. How could I possibly understand them? But I did. But so a few times in my life, the telepathy has happened, but this is the first time. I mean, ever since I started this podcast, this is the first time in my life that this has been as strong as it is. And I've been able to telepath and channel indirectly so many people. I mean, if you're brand new to the show, and this is your first episode, because I am getting new people every day, first of all, welcome. Thank you. I'm grateful that you're here. Thankful that you're here. But, I mean, I've already channeled Abra Melin the Mage, Merlin, Art Bell, Robin Williams. Who else have I channeled? Albert Einstein, Sylvia Brown. And I've also channeled the Andromedans, the Andromedan 5, the Arcturian Council of 9, or Arcturian Council, I call them, but I think they are the same as the Arcturian Council of 9. I've channeled the Michael Sherahan of Ashtar Command and the Palladian Light Forces. They're part of the Galactic Federation, which is like an organization of a bunch of different ET races that are all in, they're all joined together just for the improvement and betterment of the universe, basically. And, just like the Federation that Gene Roddenberry, quote unquote, made up, I think he's remembering a past life where he has or had direct knowledge of what he was writing about somehow. But I've channeled the Lyrans, the Andromedans, the Arcturians, let's say the Palladians. Seems like I'm missing someone. Oh, obviously I've channeled Mother Mary, Jesus, Prime Creator. I channeled a couple goddesses, and the other day Odin came by, the Norse god Odin. I've channeled the sun. I've channeled the moon. I've channeled the planet Earth's spirit, Gaia. And the other day I channeled a pre-Incan warrior from Ecuador. He was here when the Incans came, and we learned of the battle that happened right outside of Quito at the base of the Chimborazo volcano. So, I think I've channeled more than that, but anyway, that's just like the short list, I guess, or maybe a slightly incomplete list. But I'm grateful for my gift of telepathy, which has come online this year. And that's 5 things, but I'm also grateful for the ascension, for being able to go from the 3rd dimension to the 5th dimension. And I'm here now, and you guys are here now. If you're hearing this, you're in the 5th dimension. It's so cool. We still have cell phones in the 5th dimension, and we get Wi-Fi reception here. It's cool that the world isn't 100% what we thought it would be. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I thought fluffy rainbows, suddenly unicorns appear out of nowhere, giving us a ride for free anywhere we want to go. Food would be free. Land and houses would be free. I'm just kidding. I didn't think that. Honestly, I didn't think any of that. I had zero clue as to what to think. I'm like, what is the 5th dimension going to be? I thought that maybe there'd be no more governments, there'd be no more money. We would just somehow exist without all that suddenly. And it didn't happen yet. We're anchored fully in the 5th dimension. It still hasn't happened like that. But a lot of things are changing. I think it's going to take a few years for things to change completely for the better. There's still problems in the world. There's still, a lot of issues. If you live in a place, if you are in California, New York, and you have a place to live, you should be grateful for that. California and New York combined contains 70% of the homeless people in the United States. The 2 places that are shown in Hollywood movies as having the most prosperity, and yet 70% of the United States homeless people are in those 2 states. It's an epidemic. It's really bad. In California, New York, there's 63,000 people that are homeless. And in California, 130,000 people are homeless. So if you have a place to live today, and especially if you live in one of those 2 states, be very grateful for that. I don't want to make this I don't want to be ethnocentric and make it only about my country. Same thing. I have a lot of people in New Zealand and Australia, and I'm getting more and more throughout Europe, even in Guatemala. So, hey, Guatemala. I'm still on the charts on iTunes in Guatemala, so yay. And in Russia, So no matter where in the world you live, if you are in Russia and you have a nice warm winter coat, be grateful for that. If you've got money to buy vodka and you live in Russia, be grateful for that. Wasn't that long ago that people were standing in the soup lines trying to get one bowl of soup, and they would wait for hours for one bowl of soup. That's their only meal for the day. And one piece of bread. That broke my heart. When Russia was supposedly our enemy and that was happening, it broke my heart. Because the way I see it, the way Jesus said it, basically was, love everybody. He didn't say love everybody only in your own country or only in your own city, but hate the people 3 cities over. Because they're your rival in football. You know what I mean? Love everybody, but not the people with that color skin or that kind of nose or that kind of hair. No, he never said that. Love everybody. Everybody. Love that person unless they're not straight. No, he never said that. Love everybody. He did not stutter. So it broke my heart when I saw people suffering in Russia. And it still happens. I met someone who, I guess his parents found him on the streets in Russia and just paid off an official and took him to the United States. He was an orphan and he escaped the orphanage, and he had overheard, he was 6 years old or something, or a couple years old, I guess. Maybe I'm getting this confused with something else. I heard a couple different things. I heard a story about someone who was, who escaped the orphanage in time because all the kids were put to death because they couldn't afford to feed them anymore. So they gave him poison and killed him and just buried him. And he had escaped that. Maybe it was him, and he told me his parents had told him that story. Totally chilling story. So if you live in Russia and you've got money, be grateful. If you've lived through heat waves recently in Europe, which you guys had not that long ago, and you lived through it. You lived through your first really hot summer in London. Oh my God, that's amazing, right? You did it. You're here listening to this. Be grateful for that. If you've lived through fires lately, there's so many fires around the world, be grateful. If you're living in a place where there was not a fire or a flood or a tornado or a snowstorm. I mean, the snowstorm in California right now, bombogenesis. It's another bombogenesis storm. It's a bombo cyclone or whatever. It's where extremely warm air collides with extremely cold air and it swirls in a circle to the death of one or the other, I suppose. It's like a death match between the hot and the cold. And while that's going on, they got 18 inches of snow in Northern California. And in places above 3,000 feet, they're expected to get 2 to 3 feet of snow since yesterday until tomorrow. And in Colorado, lo mismo, the same, exactly the same. Like they're going to have it, so all the way across. And then behind that storm is a brand new storm. There might be another bombogenesis, like massive amounts of snow. If you don't have enough supplies in your home and the snow comes along and the power goes out, if you don't have a way to heat your house, if you didn't have enough pieces of wood, it's really uncomfortable. It's not freeze to death weather necessarily in California, not Northern California, but parts of it is. But not that bad. It's not like Minnesota. It's not like where it's 40 below. It's like only 32 degrees. It's not 70 degrees worse, below that. But, if you're in those places, I hope you're okay. I mean, but I instead of saying praying for a specific city or place or country in this moment, in Asia, they've been having a lot of earthquakes lately. There have been storms in Africa, so my heart goes out to the whole world today. So be grateful that you're able to hear this, that you have the luxury of owning a phone or a computer, that you have ears to listen to the message and a mind to think for yourself. And if you don't like something I say, you could go, well, I don't agree with that. And that's okay. We weren't all meant to have the same opinion or the same experience. We're meant to have different opinions and different experiences so we could share ideas with each other, bounce ideas off each other. And I'm not here to convince anybody of anything. I'm just here to share my truth and my experience and what it is that is in my world and in my life, so that if it does help you, and it has helped a lot of you, and I'm grateful for that. I'm so thankful that I've helped a lot of you, because I love all of you guys. I love everyone on the planet, whether they're good or bad or in the middle somewhere. Because I know that the people that are bad, or the people that are sad or depressed or full of anxiety, which I relate to, those things, not the bad part, but the other things, a lot of it is just brain issues. Go look up the TED Talk by Daniel Amen. You'll find out really quickly that if you've been depressed most of your life, you probably have brain damage. And there's a way to fix it. He came up with a way to fix it. You fix up part of your brain, you're no longer going to feel depressed. But my son's been doing a lot of research into the use of cell phones and technology, especially being on social media. And if you're consumed with that, you're going to be anxiety-ridden, depressed, and you're going to start displaying signs and symptoms of ADD or ADHD or even autism. And when you go on an electronic diet, which I highly recommend, at least for the holiday, you can catch up. You can listen to my show that I'm going to do tomorrow. Just listen to it Friday or Saturday. Maybe take the weekend off and listen to it next week. That's fine. So I don't make enough money for a couple days. I'll be fine. I'm just kidding. No guilt. No, zero guilt. But, just be thankful for what you have and take time away from electronics to look around your world and see what you can change. You know, there's a lot of soup kitchens you could go volunteer at. My son and I were supposed to go on this Cajas tour, and a lot of the money was going to go help people here that have HIV. It's called Hogar Esperanza, means house of hope, or home of hope. And the other thing is my son's been wanting to volunteer for Mujeres con Éxito, women with success. And I said, you know what? They have been having this thing where every Wednesday they learn how to cook cuisine from, I think these are women that were homeless and now they live in the shelter, that teaches them skills that are good for life. And so this is for the people who want to learn how to become chefs and run their own restaurant. They're actually now having this thing where you could go every week and you like last week was Vietnamese food. And I think it was maybe Pakistani food the week before. So they take food from different parts of the world and they learn that dish. And then that's what they serve. And when you pay, it's like $10 a meal. So it's a little bit pricey, but the profit that they get from that goes directly towards helping them. Like it gives them money for professional clothing and possibly to go to school. So it's good. And so we're like, you know, let's go and talk to some of the people and we'll go have dinner and support them. And you can always make extra donations and stuff. So we're like, yeah, let's do that. We're going to go support the women. And we don't know, we don't know the whole story. It's like, are they Ecuadorian women? Are they Venezuelanos? Are they, you know, I saw a lady out on the streets tonight, homeless, had a little baby in her arms. She was all alone. I mean, maybe her husband, maybe she has a husband and he's somewhere else, or maybe she's alone. Either way, it doesn't matter. It was just such a sad scenario, and we're like, oh man. And she's just sitting there, and I think she was hoping people would give her money. It wasn't near a bus stop or anything, so she wasn't just waiting for a bus. She was like covered in blankets, and we were like, oh man, this poor lady. I mean, our hearts go out to the people here, you know? So tonight, be grateful for what you have. If you have a home, if you've got clothing, if you've got warmth, if you're in a cold place, if you have air conditioning, if you're in a hot place, you know, if you could afford an ice cold beer when it's hot, you know, if you could afford some luxury weed, you know, be grateful for all that. And there's people that aren't eating very much. You know, they only get food every couple days, you know. And there are people that live without a home. There's people without shoes. You know, like a couple months ago, my son came home and he's all excited. And he's like, started going through all of his stuff. And he started shoving all of his old clothes into a bag. And I'm like, what are you doing? You know? And he's like, I need to give all the stuff to my friend. I'm like, what? Why would he want all your old stuff? He's like, because he's Venezuelano, he doesn't have anything. I'm like, whoa. And he had the same shoe size. My son was so excited. He has the same shoe size as me. Gave his shoes away, his old pair of shoes. And they were still nice, but, you know, he's like, I don't wear them very much. I might as well give it to him. You know, pay it forward. So he gave all this stuff to this guy, and he came home. He's like, I feel so good. I was able to help this guy. And I'm going to pray for him, you know. My son got up today and he was praying, and yesterday got up and he's praying. And he's like, you know, I'm so grateful for everything I have. I'm so lucky. And he started reading books. He's like, I'm just going to turn everything around, and this is going to be my year to do it. You know, I'm starting now, so I get a jump on next year, and everything's going to be good from now on. You know, so if you could change your world and your life and your activities in a heartbeat, be grateful for that. You know, it's all pretty cool, man. It's all really awesome. Everything is moving right along as it's supposed to be. So, I don't know, be grateful for what you got, you know. Anyway, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for you guys. I'm thankful for everything. And I'm extremely thankful for the fact that tomorrow, when I wake up, I could put on some nice clothes, put on some makeup, which I hardly ever wear makeup, but I'll look really good tomorrow. And we're going downtown, and there's a restaurant that's serving an American-style Thanksgiving. We're going to have cranberry sauce. Like, they have cranberry juice here, but it's hard to find cranberries. You can't find them in the grocery store. So I don't even know where. It's like, I think there might be one place in town you can actually find cranberries, and it's rare. But you can go and get, tomorrow we're going to get pumpkin pie. I don't even know where the hell they're growing the pumpkins. You can't just go get, they don't have canned pumpkin. You can't make your own pie here if there's no pumpkins. There's one vegetable called like zipolite that you can get, but it's pumpkin-y. It's more like just a squash. You have to add all the spices and hope it has the same consistency. We'll see tomorrow how good this is, but they're going to have turkey. I can't afford to buy a turkey here, guys. For a turkey the size of a chicken, it's like $45. For a turkey that's like a normal, like huge turkey, like a 15-pound turkey, $60. 20-pound turkey, $75, $80. And I've seen some turkeys like up to $120. The ones that come with the spices or whatever. Just a normal turkey that has nothing in it. $60, $70, $80. $45 for a teeny tiny one. It's like, dude, like I can't afford that. That's insane. And they're frozen solid. Where they're going to just be frozen solid for the next, like, week or two, even if they're defrosting in your fridge. Like, ridiculous turkeys here. But, there's no turkeys. They're North American birds. So they're imported. And, but tomorrow we're going to get to have turkey. We never get turkey. It's awesome. We're going to have turkey. We're going to have cranberry sauce, pumpkin pie. Those are things that are not normal here. Like the corn and the potatoes, that's normal. But sweet potatoes, another thing. Now, they do have sweet potatoes here that are purple. And they're very starchy. They're sweet, but starchy and dry. You've got to add a lot of butter and a lot of milk to get them. But purple mashed potatoes, it's like a magical meal. Trust me, it's so good. But you have to add a lot of stuff to it to get it to that good part. But we're going to see tomorrow if we get actual yams, if we get sweet potatoes that are actually orange. We're going to be so excited about that. But I've got a nice papaya I want to share with my son for breakfast. I think we've got some eggs. We can make some, fried eggs, get bacon next door and have like a good breakfast. And then tomorrow night we have this big Thanksgiving dinner. Even comes with a free glass of wine and entertainment. They're going to have live music. $14 a person. I'm like, that's not bad considering I know how much turkey costs. So I'm really grateful for that. And there were other ones. This one guy never ever got back to me. And I'm like, why did he not get back to me? So strange. But he was going to have a bus taking people out to his land that overlooks a valley, and the dinner was going to be right at sunset. It sounded lovely. But he never got back to anybody. I'm like, well, okay, I guess we're not going to that one. There was another one going in the opposite direction, kind of the similar thing, like overlooking the valley. But they're having like pumpkin flavored cheesecake instead of pumpkin pie. I'm like, no, they're trying to make it like a sophisticated gourmet meal. And I'm like, this is Thanksgiving. We all know that we love the food because it's what we grew up with. But we all all of us kind of know that the food, it's a little bit crap, right? It's not like the best meal in the world. It really isn't, but it's nostalgic. And it's the nostalgia of it that makes it special. Thankful that we're still alive, and the people that used to cook this crappy food for us, they're all dead, most of them. It's like great-great-grandmas and grandpas, they're gone now, at least in my life. My whole family that I used to eat Thanksgiving meal with is dead, except for my children. Everyone else I've ever had Thanksgiving with, they've all died. All of them. Except my cousin Gina, she's still alive. her parents have died. I mean, you know, my brother was asking her about her dad. Like, you know, can you call Gina and ask about Uncle Jerry? I haven't heard from him. I haven't heard anything about him for a couple years, you know, and I really miss him. And so he calls, and he calls me back. He's like, yeah, apparently he died a couple years ago. She didn't really bother to call us or tell us or, you know, send a quick message on Facebook or anything. I'm like, what? That's my family for you. It's like, it's always been that way. You know, it hasn't always been that way. We used to always, all of us get together. We had so many family gatherings, and suddenly the key people that was like the glue that held the families together, those key people died. And then all of a sudden, nobody gave a crap about anyone anymore. Like, we only got together for Mama, for her sake. Or we only got together for Grandma Ziegler's sake or whatever. Really crazy stuff. So, I don't know. I'm grateful that I do have my son with me, and that we're going to go eat in a restaurant with other Americans, other gringos. We'll probably see people we know. We'll probably see people we've never met before. But we'll be able to have conversations about nostalgia, about the U.S., things we miss. That's always a huge conversation when you're an expatriate in a foreign country. What do you miss about your country? Well, I miss red licorice, and I miss this, and I miss that. I miss the convenience of Walmart, even though it's an evil corporation, you know. I mean, you know, it's like, those are the kind of conversations you have with people. I miss being able to turn on the radio and flipping the dial between 20 different radio stations, and they're all in English. And you're hard pressed to find one in Spanish. I mean, that's, you know, you take that for granted when you're in the U.S., you know. You get in your car, you could turn on the radio. You know, it's like most gringos here, we don't have cars. We take taxis everywhere. And we can't control the radio. And it's always like, you know, soccer or news. And it's like, oh my God. But it's interesting. Actually, I enjoy the music here. I don't even own a radio, actually. But when we lived in a place with a radio, I enjoyed listening to music. It was interesting. And every now and again, you'll have like a couple hours of American music. And so we do have a couple hours of music that we recognize from the States, but there's a couple places on the radio where they'll play rap from the United States for like an hour or two, or hip hop and R&B, but mostly pop music, mostly rock and roll. A lot of people love rock and roll here from the U.S. So, but I don't know, that's a huge conversation though when you get to when you go to a restaurant and there's an event like Thanksgiving for all the gringos, and it's like, it's really nice, you know. In fact, when you walk into a restaurant and there's you and the person you're with and two other people and all the other seats are empty, but they're from your country, now you're having dinner with these people. That's how it is. It's ultra friendly. It's like suddenly you're my new best friend. You know, you might be from Connecticut and I'm from California and we never met before, but you know what? Because we're Americans in a foreign land, we're now friends. We're allies, you know what I mean? So it's a whole different ballgame. And when you're in California, you walk into a restaurant, you're weird if you talk to other people. They look at you like you're out of your damn mind. There must be something wrong with her. Why is she talking to me? But here in Ecuador, everyone you meet is suddenly your friend and we all sit together in the same table. We'll like mush our tables together, and now we're all on one table, and now there's like 20, 30 people at one table. It happens a lot here. Everyone wants to get to know each other. Where you come from? You know, I was a nurse in Arizona. Well, where'd you come from? I lived in Washington, D.C., and I helped with the National Democratic Convention. Well, what did you do? What's your story? I used to play for the band Chicago. I blew a horn, and that was my thing. You know, I played trumpet in that band. You know, it's like we meet people from all over, all walks of life. It's cool. A lot of political activists for the Democrats live here. It's crazy. It's awesome. Anyway, I'm going to get you guys into what is happening with the Schumann Resonance. Thank God, HeartMath Institute. I'm thankful for this. HeartMath.org is now working. We finally have activity. So we're going to talk about that. In fact, in Hululuwe, South Africa, we had the days that we were missing the data, they were able to get back online and Hululu, they were at 618 Hertz frequency. And then and then went down again. And then the second peak went up to 608 Hertz frequency during the days that we missed. So that was pretty cool. I was really happy to see that they actually were able to recover data from the past few days when their equipment, I guess they were having internet outs, or I don't know what's going on over there, but thank God that's back online. But we're going to go to disclosurenews.it first. Okay, so now the first thing is they had the 8:30 in the morning report UTC time. And they said the graphics are available again after a brief period of blockage of the TSU site. And that's true. It was like impossible. Part of the graph and chart is usually blue with like green and red interference, sometimes yellow, and then the white is what the Schumann resonance is, because it measures like 4 things. There's like a giant pillar of blackness. Like yesterday's a pillar of whiteness. Today's just a pillar of blackness where there's like absolutely no activity was recorded at all, and they've lost the data. And again, I think that's because we had the massive solar flares coming. And can you guys hear the 2:35 a.m. Daily car alarm? I'm just kidding. It's usually at 1:30. Oh, every frickin' day. Seriously, I'm like considering moving to the countryside on the opposite side of town to avoid this kind of stuff. But all right, it says we can see yesterday there's been no significant activity. Today, on the other hand, a new series of movements has begun. The first variation is amplitude started at 2 UTC, reaching values around power 20 within 30 minutes. At 5 UTC, there's a maximum value so far, power 31. The activity is still going. So at 1700 UTC time, their evening report says, today's activity occurred during a period from 2 to 10 UTC time. During 8 hours, that could be divided into 2 parts. The first 4 hours led to a peak of 31, as previously described, and the second for 4 hours more intense led to a peak of power 34. And this is crazy. They put this in parentheses, 17 times 2 for the most tenacious. I don't know. I guess because they keep pointing out 17, because this is the 1700 report. So 34 is 17 plus 17, or 17 times 2. I don't know. Maybe they're high. Anyway, for a peak of power 34, just minutes before the 17 of the chart at 10 UTC. Anyway, so that's disclosurenews.it. Now we're going to go on over to HeartMath, and I'm going to read those numbers. And yeah, I'm shocked again at like the 600. It's like here in Italy, it's only like 20, 30, 34. They're calling that significant, but when you look at the numbers for HeartMath, it's a lot more significant to me. Like, it's crazy that it's so. Okay. My computer's very slow suddenly. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm looking at these peaks. They just look like the way that it's not like flowy like some of the ups and downs just kind of look like a river flowing, kind of going up and down and la la la. And this one just looks like a mountain range for Hululu. It's like really crazy. Like, it just looks like almost, it depends on how you look at it, but it almost looks like a face. Like, have you guys ever seen a mountain range? It looks strange and familiar, and then you turn your head and it's like, oh my God, it's a giant face. I don't know if that ever happens to you, but it's happened to me a lot. I see faces and everything. All right. In California at midnight, according to heartmath.org, on the Schumann Resonance scale, they started off at 61 Hertz frequency, but by 5 a.m., they were at 59, so they went down a little bit. And now this is the one that's just been the same for days, now weeks. In Hafuf, Saudi Arabia, they're still at 0, and they've been just at 0 this whole time. They're still from midnight all the way to 5, absolutely flatlining. Absolutely 0. Maybe someone should check on them. If you're in Saudi Arabia, go over to Hafuf. Make sure everyone's still alive. I'm just kidding. It has nothing to do with that. It's like, why is it 0 over there? It's been like that for weeks. And you know, Hulului was like the zeroed one. For like 14 days or 15 days, they were 0 and nothing else. And then now they're at in the 600s. They were yesterday in the 600s. No, 2 days ago. Yeah, it looks like around, I don't know. So between noon and midnight, right in the middle, like around 6. So yeah, it's 6 in the evening and 6 in the morning again. They were in both times at 618 and 608 Hertz frequency. It's freaking enormous. Really enormous numbers right there. Anyway, in Lithuania, they start off at 119 Hertz frequency at midnight, and by 5 a.m. they went down to 115. So, just down by 4. In Alberta, Canada, they start off at 23 Hertz frequency and went down by 5 a.m. They're joining with Hafuf at 0. In Alberta, Canada, they're also zeroing out. Crazy stuff. All right. In Northland, New Zealand, they start off at 117 Hertz frequency, and by 5 a.m. they were at 114 Hertz frequency. And in Hulului, South Africa now, this morning at least, in the morning at midnight, basically, they were at 202 Hertz frequency, and they went up to 204 by 5 a.m. So there you have it. That's it. All right. In A Course in Miracles, we're on lesson 170 in the workbook for the Foundation of Inner Peace. You could go to acim.org if you want to read it for yourself. I'm not going to read the whole thing. We don't have time because we're going to do this and then take a quick break. When I come back, I'm going to channel Prime Creator for you guys. So lesson 170 is, there is no cruelty in God and none in me. There is no cruelty in God and none in me. You make what you defend against, and by your own defense against it, it is real and inescapable. Lay down your arms, and only then do you perceive it to be false. No one attacks without the intent to hurt. This can have no exception. When you think that you attack in self-defense, you mean that to be cruel is protection. You are safe because of cruelty. You mean that you believe to hurt another brings you freedom. And you mean that to attack is to exchange the state in which you are for something better, safer, more secure from dangerous invasion and from fear. How thoroughly insane is the idea that to defend from fear is to attack. For here is fear begot and fed with blood, to make it grow and swell and rage. And thus is fear protected, not escaped. Today we learn a lesson which can save you more delay and needless misery than you could possibly imagine. And this is it. You make what you defend against, and by your own defense against it, is it real and inescapable. So lay down your arms, and only then do you perceive it false. All right, it goes on and on. It has 13 paragraphs to this one. It's a very interesting one, and maybe one to keep in mind during Thanksgiving. I don't know about you guys, but my family sometimes got into arguments for hours. It was so boring and so upsetting as a child. My little brother and I, and sometimes my older cousin, we'd escape, go down the street. We found a park. I think it was a park next to a school. We would either enter in the gate or hop the fence, and they had chickens, and sometimes they had someone come around to feed the chickens. They took care of them during the breaks. But we'd go sit and hang out with the chickens and swing on the swings, and we'd be there for hours before people noticed we were gone. We had to do that because people were attacking each other, and, they were saying all kinds of crazy stuff. The women would be gossiping about who's getting divorced, who's cheating on whom, who has cancer, and the men were screaming in the living room about football. My high cousin had come home with Pop Rocks for the little kids, which we all loved, and we loved him anyway. He was always high on drugs, but we loved him. He was super fun. He had the best music. We'd go up and he had hot box his room, and we'd listen to albums with him all day. But yeah, God bless his soul. He was crazy. He had a lot of brain damage. And I think he died of a parasite in his lungs that was impossible to operate on. So he didn't care. He just went out in a blaze of glory doing drugs, and no one ever heard from him. Last time I saw him, I was 16 years old. But yeah, well, there's that. God bless you, Bill. I used to enjoy that part of my Thanksgiving, though, was with my cousin Bill, because, the hotboxing of the room, he had a black light and he had the psychedelic posters in the bright colors, so we could turn off the lights and put on the black light, and we just listened to like Led Zeppelin or Jimi Hendrix Purple Haze album. Oh my God. Or Peter Frampton. Oh, even better, Peter Frampton. He was a lot of fun to hang out with. Anyway, let's see. But there it is. That's a lesson for the day. There is no cruelty in God and none in me. So there you go. Don't get into fights today. Just love people. Accept them if they're asleep. Just accept. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, I'm going to channel Prime Creator, who has a special message for you. We're going to find out what it is right after this. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's high time you did. It is the absolute easiest way to make a podcast. First of all, it's absolutely free. Second of all, they have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. You guys have known that I've been doing this for 8 months using the Anchor.fm app right on my cell phone, and I have done it everywhere, right? I have recorded this in my living room, my bedroom, little cafes in Quito, Ecuador, all over Cuenca. It's so absolutely easy to make your podcast, and editing is just a snap. Anchor also will distribute your podcast for you, and it took me about 2.5 months to become syndicated, and now I'm available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more, and so can you. You can make money from your podcast also, and there's no minimum requirement. You get paid from your very first listener. It is everything that you need to make a podcast all in one place. So please, if you are interested in making a podcast of your very own, do not hesitate to start with Anchor. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you. All right, guys, I'm here and I have charged my phone for 2 hours, as well as drank 2 cups of coca leaf tea, like what they make cocaine out of. but it's legal if you have just the leaves themselves. And ginkgo biloba in a heavy brandy. I mean, I mixed it with half a glass of water and it's still strong. It's like, oh my God. But it's brought my pain down to a somewhat tolerable level. Not totally, I'm still in a lot of pain, but I've done a lot of stretches. I did some relaxing exercises. It's like ridiculous. I'm in a ridiculous amount of pain. It's unbelievable. I can't believe it. But I finally got to the point where I can channel this and get the show out. So there you go. All right. Sometimes I swear to God, I'm channeling Art Bell's problems because he died from the painkillers he was taking. I think he took a couple and they didn't work after 20, 30 minutes and probably forgot and took a couple more and like, oh no. And that was the end of him, you know. I think maybe when you sit for a living doing the show, I don't know what it is, but hopefully there's no good painkillers here except illegal street drugs. And so it's like I've been trying really hard to get through this. I don't know what I'm going to do, but here we are. I'm already connected to Prime Creator. He is ready to give a message to you guys. I honestly have no idea what the message is going to be. I think it might be Thanksgiving related. And that might be the theme, but I'm not really sure. But I've already touched my forehead and said Ki Ah Sha 3 times. That comes from the Pleiadians and that helps you open up your third eye. And I also said Plua Rasa, which aligns me with my soul, my higher self, and my highest, best good. That's also from Michael Sherhan of the Pleiadians. And I also said Linkura Sha Tadaba 3 times. And that is a phrase from the Lyrans, who come from the Vega star system. They gave that to me to bring anything in your life you want. You say it 3 times, but also it helps you if you want only to link up to your higher self. It also helps. And now that I've said these things, now I just saw a big white streak in front of me. Like it looked like it was above my head several feet in front of me directly. Probably about 3 or 4 feet long, maybe. Big flash of white. I think it's my angel, my holy guardian angel. So that's pretty cool. I'm in good company. I've been seeing fays all over the place, streaking across my room in little wispy energies. It's all pretty cool. All right. So anyway, I am an indirect telepath, and when I channel, it's directly through telepathy. It's not directly where I don't have my body taken over. Some people do. They're direct channels, and they go into a deep trance. The spirit comes into their body. They step aside. The spirit says its message, his, her, their message. Sometimes it's a collective, so it's a group of people. And then they leave and the person gets back in their body. And then they're like, whoa, what happened, right? I don't do that. I'm a Virgo. I don't like anyone to inhabit my body. I want to be the only one inhabiting it. And sometimes not even then. Like on days like today, when I have a lot of pain, I don't even want to inhabit my own body. So anyway, so here we are. We're already together. And I'm going to just allow him to start talking. And again, I use muscle testing, kinesiology, in the event that I don't understand something, or if he plucks something from my subconscious mind, or something that I already said to you guys in the past week, and I feel like, well, maybe it's from me directly. I'll ask. I'll make sure. Sometimes I do light movements, like light language movements, exercises over the phone. I don't know with him if I will, but we'll see. Am I connected to you? Prime Creator, answer says yes. Okay. I just heard a voice near my phone. That was really, really weird. All right. Well, I mean, something's playing on my Netflix, like an advertisement. But I haven't been able to hear it this whole time, so I don't think it's that. That was very weird. Yeah, if you guys want to play that back and listen, turn up a lot for a second. It sounded like there was like a little female voice. In the advertisement, it was a man talking, so very weird. Anyway, make sure that's not playing. I have headphones plugged in, so I can't hear it on my phone. Very, very weird. All right. Go ahead, Prime Creator. You may start talking anytime. Thank you for being on the show and wanting to channel through me today. Greetings, it is I, your Prime Creator, God of the universe. I really, truly should not need any introduction. If you've been listening to this show for a while, you know that sometimes I like to channel via telepathy through Elena because she is a fairly clear channel. Okay, God, stop. You're embarrassing me. I'm not saying that, guys. I feel really weird saying. He says, okay, it's okay sometimes to toot your own horn, as they say. Sometimes it's okay to talk about your abilities and accomplishments, because sometimes if you do this with humility, you will be able to help those around you who did not know that the abilities and gifts that you were given you so that you could help them directly. So it doesn't always result in your sounding like a braggadocio when you tell people what you do and if you're good at something. And now he's apologizing to me directly for embarrassing me. It's okay, God. You're God. It's all good. So, all right. So where were we? Let's go. What's the message for today? I come to you with a message of love and peace, joy and tranquility and thanksgiving. This is a sacred day in the United States, but in all reality, every day is a sacred day in every country on planet Earth. This year, even more so, because this is the year that you all collectively ascended into the fifth dimension, even though it seems quite a bit like the third dimension. Some of you are disappointed. I see that. I feel it. I know that you are feeling a little bit ripped off at this moment. But don't fret, because the best is yet to come. There will be new technologies, there will be new ways to connect to divine and meditate. There's going to be a lot of new things coming. The ETs in a few years? Yeah. More than 2? More than 3? No. So basically in less than 3 years they'll be here. Will they come? Okay, God, this is me, Elena, asking, is it possible they could be here sooner if enough people awaken and ask for it? He says, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. it's possible to have them come quicker to planet Earth. So ask, and ask often. Don't just ask once. He's saying ask more than once. Ask many times. They're not going to confuse your voice for several people. You know, it's not like at a stop. This is me, Elena. You guys, it's not like at a stoplight when you're trying to walk across the street and you're waiting for the green sign to say walk so you could go across the street. If you push it once, they know one person's there. If you push it 20 times, the light goes, oh no, there's 20 people waiting. Let's go faster. Okay, that's not true. It doesn't happen. In fact, they discovered in New York that you could push that button all day long and it doesn't even register. That button literally goes to nothing. It just gives you the false sense of security that you're actually doing something. And it's always on a timer. It's like the lights are on a timer, whether there's somebody waiting there or not. It'll say walk. Sorry to burst your bubble there. That might be true in all cities, actually. But in New York, they haven't been connected since the 60s. All right, sorry, God. Let's get back into that. All right. A lot of you are going to be connecting with family and friends today. And when you do so, it might be or feel a little strange because you've been working on yourselves. You've gotten into the spiritual meaning of life, and you have really been working on yourself and clearing your energy fields and getting rid of blockages in your chakras and clearing your auras, gathering your crystals and gathering your spiritual teams. And you've been really working hard, and you might encounter those who you've known for years or possibly your entire life in the next 4 days, and they're still stuck in the mindset of 3D reality. They're still in that portion of the matrix. So it's quite possible this is going to prove frustrational. This will be a challenge, but also it's going to be an opportunity for you to practice your sense and style of grace. And what I mean by that is I want you to imagine that you're floating on a cloud above it. You've risen above. And they say, you're weird. You're strange. Why do you have to talk about that stuff? We should have your brain examined. Maybe you need a CAT scan or a psychiatrist. You might hear all these things, or only one of these things, or maybe you don't hear them at all, and people take other people aside and go into the other room and whisper, gossip about you. Even though they seem awake enough with their mouths flapping, their gums flapping, and their gossip center part of their brain fully activated, you're going to realize quickly that even though they appear awake, they're not. They're still fully asleep. So they're having a nightmare while they're asleep, as if you are the crazy one. But wisdom to the foolish is foolishness. They don't know of which they speak. They know not what they do. You have to keep your strength about you, your wits about you. It is necessary at this moment to pull out the strength card in the Holy Tarot. When you look at, he's telling me like the Rider-Waite deck, the woman is holding open the mouth of a lion, and she's putting her hand inside. When you think about this card, that lion is bright red. It stands for pure vitality and energy and force and pure raw power and strength. But the true strength belongs to the woman who can open the lion's mouth without fear, who can stand patiently, smiling, and trusting the beast not to attack or bite off her hand. Your strength this weekend is to be very calm, cool, collected. You don't have to take abuse. You don't have to take bullying. You don't have to take the ignorance of others. You can simply listen and let it go. Keep a diary. You could get a notes program in your phone and write your complaints there. Go back and read them and add more notes for the whole weekend, and then come Monday morning or Tuesday morning, whenever you go back to your normal daily life, you can erase it. You could handwrite it. When you get out of that situation, you can burn the note. Or soak it wet until in the rainwater or in a puddle or in your bathroom sink until all the ink floats away. You could tear the paper into a million pieces and bury it in your yard. There's many ways to get rid of bad memories, and these are easy ways. You don't have to take it, and you don't have to worry about it, because what people say in their sleep is of no consequence. And what truly matters is that I, the Prime Creator, I love you unconditionally. I am grateful and thankful to you for choosing to come to Earth in this moment. I'm grateful that you allowed me to create your body that would serve your best, highest good and your best, highest needs for your soul to advance in this moment. And I'm grateful that you are experiencing everything for me. By being on earth and being spiritually awake, you are serving God. You need to feel good and proud about that. You don't have to tell anybody. You could keep your mouth quiet if you wish. Keep your ears open if you wish for the entire weekend, if you can. Just let the ignorant people have their ignorance. Let the sleeping people have their dreams, nightmarish or no. The people who are not aware can keep their ignorance to themselves. They can keep it for themselves. You don't need to take part in anything that anybody says to you that is not in alignment with what you know yourself to be true. Anything that's not in alignment with who you are at a soul level. You don't need to engage in their drama and family history, because you are a living legend in the godly mystery. your being here in this time is of great importance. Your humility at this time is a part of a greater dance. This life is precious. This life is fleeting. You have to choose how you wish to spend every moment. It's always hard when you have to engage with family members that voted for the wrong guy or like to pick on you in a homophobic or a sexist or a misogynistic way, or in a way in which they're bullying you and then they laugh about it and say, I'm just joking. It's hard. But you came here as a spiritual warrior of sorts. And words are just words, and even though they might hurt, they might sting a little, you don't have to engage these people on a daily basis, only for a couple days here and a couple days there. And there's no law says you can't decide to suddenly take a cruise to the Caribbean or a cruise to Europe or flying into Lisbon. Sorry, can't make Christmas. If it gets so bad that you can't stand the energy of being around the people this week, you can always take a vacation, make an excuse, and not be with the people that drag you down energetically next time. If you feel like this might be your last Christmas with them, make the most of it. Miracles can still occur. You can also ask your higher guidance to help you. Ask Archangel Michael to accompany you. You don't have to go alone. You can ask your angels to be with you, your holy guardian angel. And you can connect with me. You do that very simply by saying, I would like to connect with Prime Creator. And it is done by your word. It is made so, and I am a part of your daily life. And you don't ever have to disconnect from me. You will start to hear my voice. It will bring comfort in the times of struggle. It will bring joy in the times of misfortune or sorrow or confusion. I will bring clarity. My voice will become crystal clear as a bell ringing out into the night sky on the coldest of nights. Imagine if you're standing in a field covered in snow and the bright brassy ring of a bell peals out into the night. That's how clear my voice will become to you. I'm encouraging this because it will help you grow faster. It will help you ascend faster. It will help you accept everything that's happening faster. And if I am your date through all of your family holidays, you're going to feel my strength backing your own, because I am the Lord your God, and I always, always, always have got your back. I wanted you to know that, even though you've heard words similar before. We wish you to understand how unique, precious, special you are. How incredibly delightful it is for us to learn more about your world by living through you. Actually, we're living through you. Your experiences become our knowledge. When I say our, I mean Divine Mother. It's now time to stop ignoring that there is a Divine Mother, the Divine Feminine. Everything is becoming more harmonious and balanced in the world. And for that, we could not be more thankful. We could not be more grateful. And it is due to your hard work. So we wish to thank you tonight for helping to raise humanity into a higher dimension. As you recall, it was no easy feat. All the symptoms you had to go through, and a lot of the symptoms you still are going through. We appreciate your effort. We appreciate you. And we wanted to thank you for following a spiritual path. Now, we don't want to say that and have you think, oh no, I have a job still. Maybe I need to dump my job. Maybe I should live out of the city. We don't mean that. When we say following a spiritual path, what we mean is thank you for also including spirituality in your day-to-day life, in your already complicated existence. It's okay. We're not asking you to go vegetarian. We're not asking you to solidify your spirituality by going off into the woods or living in a cave. You don't have to change everything 100%. You don't have to live simply or simply live, however you wish to say that. You don't have to sell everything and move into a tiny house to become spiritual, to leave less of a carbon footprint or what have you. Because every experience is valid. A meat eater who drives a car is every bit as loved by Divine and acknowledged as important by Divine, as is a vegan living in the woods, growing her own vegetables, or making his own cloth woven from hemp fibers that he grew himself. We don't ask that you become the most eco-friendly person on the planet to be spiritual. We just ask that you walk through your days in a wakefulness state, being mindful of your heart, your feelings, your gut instincts, and your actions. If it is perfectly viable for you to take a train or a bus instead of being stuck in traffic in a car for several hours, and that's going to help the environment, then do it. But if it's more convenient for you to hop in your car and drive the hour to go see your relatives at Thanksgiving because you don't want to be exposed to people coughing on the subway, or maybe robbing you on a bus, that's okay too. All the experiences that humans can have are valid because you are in a matrix. You are in a simulated world. It's real, yes, it's real, but it's created as an experiment, and the experiment of 3D has come to a close, and we are witnessing the experience of unfoldment and blossoming into the fifth dimension. We are witnessing it, observing it through your eyes, experiencing it through your hands, and walking through your days through your feet. We feel what you feel. We know what you know. We experience what you experience. And if everybody was an eco-friendly vegan living in the forest by themselves, that would get pretty boring pretty quickly. The one person or the two persons or the 50 persons doing that is giving us ample and plenty information on that kind of lifestyle. Why we are bringing this up is that many of you have false and erroneous ideas yet of how to be spiritual, and you think maybe if you wear only organic, cotton, eco-friendly t-shirts, will that bring you closer to the divine? Or if you stop riding a bicycle and start yoga, that's somehow going to give you more of a spiritual satisfaction. And we're here to say that walking your dog or playing with a neighbor's baby while your neighbor takes a quick nap is every bit as valid as taking a yoga class. We don't wish you to change your life, your lifestyle, your personality. We don't wish you to be something that you're not, because being the most authentic person you can be gives us the greatest joy at having given you life. When you pose and pretend to be something or someone you're not, it causes stress and anxiety inside of you. And then you go ahead and stuff that down with another green shake or a green tea. And some of you love that, and some of you are miserable trying to love that. And if you don't love that, don't do that. If you'd rather go to McDonald's to have a green shake today, then do that. If that is thoroughly disgusting to you, then don't do that. If you want to drink chamomile tea you bought at Walmart, that's okay. If you want to drink mint tea that you grew in your garden, that's okay. We love all of you. We don't look at things and go, well, you know, that's not good, and now you deserve to be punished for having that experience for us. We don't do that. You choose at the end of the life where you go after that. If you were a bad person doing bad things, you're going to punish yourself. You're going to choose for yourself what you deserve and what you don't deserve. And you're going to choose by judging yourself at the end. And if you see that you were a false, fake person and you weren't genuine and authentic your whole life, and your whole life ended up being one big fat New Age lie, then we think you're going to be sorely disappointed in that. But if you want to drink soda once in a while and be selfish once in a while and work in a soup kitchen once or twice a year instead of every single Saturday, that's okay. If you want to smoke weed in Colorado and watch movies on Netflix and chill with your friends, we're okay with that. because all of it is an experience. We ask that you be the best you can be. We don't say that you should watch Netflix and do nothing with your life. We don't say that you should work 80 hours a week and ignore all pleasures. We hope that you're seeking for a balance that works for you. There's no law that says you have to spend holidays with your family if your family is not going to serve your highest best needs. But at the same time, we would like for you to consider, if you're vibing a lot higher than your family, your energy might just wake them up this weekend. Your energy might spark something in them. And the ones that fight the hardest, the ones that bully you the most, the ones that make fun of you the most, usually are on the verge of a massive spiritual awakening. And we see a lot of you will be having the experience of apologies in the next 1 to 2 to 3 years from the very people who are giving you hassles now. So please keep that in mind and consider that might be the reality quite soon. We love every single one of you. We love every cell in your body and every hair on your head. We have counted every blood cell in your body. We know every molecule of oxygen you have breathed in to the lungs that we created in your body since your first breath. We know everything about you. The bad things you've done, the bad thoughts you've thought, the good things you've done, the positive radiating joy and light that you have given the world on certain days. We felt your frustration and anger on other days and disappointment. We know everything about you, and yet we love you unconditionally. We are hoping that you can do the same for yourself and extend that to others, even when the others remain asleep and stuck in their old ways. Love the curmudgeons. It's easy to love a puppy or a happy baby. It's easy to love a puffy white cloud in the sky, but if you can love the curmudgeons, the homeless people that are dirty, make you feel uncomfortable emotionally, if that's you, you know who we're talking to. If you're afraid of sick people, because you might get sick yourself because of the germs, but you can love them from a distance. Find it in your heart, find a way, even if it's at a distance with a silent prayer. Find a way to love everybody. Find a way to put energy, positive, radiating joy back into the world. More and more with every footstep. Imagine the light radiating from your feet. And imagine the light going out in 10 feet or 100 feet in every direction with every step. Imagine that you are lightening up the world. So don't worry about the people who are being ignorant, the people that are not woke. Don't worry. Someday they will be, and maybe they will be because you gave them the benefit of the doubt and you graced them with your presence, and you did not allow their mumbly, gobbledygook jargon in their sleep. You didn't allow it to affect you. We see those of you who are pure of heart. We see those of you who struggle with some issues. We don't judge you for having addictions. We don't judge you for sex outside of marriage or sex with multiple partners. We hope that you're taking care of yourself spiritually and trying to keep your energy clear and clean for you to have less pain, less emotional pain, and less psychological pain. All of the experiences of redemption, of turnaround, all the experiences of flipping the story, all the experiences of having bad experiences and turning it into a comedy routine. It's all good. All those things happen. All those things help other people. Never feel bad for having walked down a bad path and then turning the corner and then walking down a well-lit, good path. Because everybody has had to experience the bad, the sometimes ugly, and the good paths. We are closing this message with a great deal of love and joy. We are your parents. We created you. We are proud of you. If you want to look at us as parents, parental units. Well, we are the prime creators. And we give you nothing but love, constant, unconditional love. Call upon us when you need us. We will be there because we are always there with you. You can't see us, but we have never forsaken or abandoned you. We have always been there. We are closer to you than your own jugular vein. We have awareness of your every eyelash. We know how much your toenails grow every day. We know more about you than you do because we love you so much. And for all of you brave souls who've decided to live in 3D and physically move up to 5D in one of the most grand experiments and also one of the hardest, most difficult that have ever existed in the universe. We take our hats off to you. We bow before you and we say that we love you and we're thankful for you. We only know everything in the world because of all of the individuals on all the planets that chose to have experiences in lower dimensions. We could not have had all the knowledge without you. You are that important to us. Radiating out towards you with love and joy. The energy comes through the sun. Feel it. It's tangible on your face, on your skin. Don't spend too much time in the sun for obvious reasons, but try to spend a couple minutes every day feeling that love and radiance and warmth to the very core of your being. And you're going to feel us hugging you every day. Some of you will get skin kisses from the sun, the freckles. It's physical proof that you are loved by God, by the way. Or maybe your hair gets a little lighter as you go up and you stand in the sun sometimes. You go up in vibration and your hair lightens up a little bit. or your skin darkens with the radiation, whatever signs you have in your physical body from being in the sun a little bit, just know that that's like us giving you a hug. We want you to know how much we love you every day. Pray for the things you need and don't have. Pray for the things you want. Align with your soul first. Make sure you're asking for the correct things. Do for others the way that you would have them do for you. Help others, be humble, love each other, love yourself as we do you. Happy Thanksgiving from the Prime Creators. All right, guys, well, there you go. That's it. That was a really cool message, I think. All right, that's it. I don't really have much to add to that. I mean, I love you guys too. Unconditionally too. I hope you have a really safe and blessed holiday. Take your time. Don't rush getting places. Do your best. Remember, don't give chocolate or avocados to dogs. Don't overfeed them either. Dogs love turkey, so make sure they don't have access to it. Yeah, dogs. Love dogs. Anyway, love each other. Love your pets. Love the world. Love each other. Just pray. Pray for all of us. Just from now on, God bless the whole world. No exceptions. Oh, I just saw a little being look from around the corner of the bed and then go back. Hi, little fairy folks. I love them so much too. Love the unseen world and the invisibles also. All right, guys, that's it. I don't have much more to add to that. I am still seeking, though, your Christmas stories. If you have Christmas miracle stories, I want to hear them. If you have any holiday, Diwali, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, any kind of stories, I want to hear from you. metaphysicalsoulspeak@gmail.com. And that's it, guys. I'm signing off now with peace and joy and the high vibes of the Holy Fifth Dimension. Happy Thanksgiving and peace. Do you ever wish you could look into the next chapter in your book of life and see what's coming next? What does the universe have in store for you? I can help you with that. I will give you a Celtic cross reading, which is 10 cards, or you can ask me 3 questions, and I use 3 cards per question. So that's 9 cards, or I can channel your higher guidance, or maybe God directly for you. Maybe you want to talk to your dear departed Aunt Edna, because maybe you have a few questions and she was the smartest person you knew. If your deceased relatives are available or your ascended masters, I can channel them for you personally. Let me have 1 hour to show you the future in your next chapter of your book of life. Readings are $75, and it takes me an hour to an hour and a half to complete. And for this price, you will also be hooked up to the healing grid around the planet for free, which means yours truly, me, I will be giving you Reiki 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the rest of your life. All you have to do is let me know. metaphysicalsoulspeak@gmail.com, and we will explore your future together.